Well, hello. Welcome to Meettina. Welcome to my channel. First of all, I would like to thank you everyone for being here, tuning in, supporting my channel, follow me. And for those who are new here, please do not forget to subscribe, click like, or even share my videos. So today I'm so excited to introduce you a beautiful energy of the starseed Arcturian hybrid with human. Viviane Chauvet. Vivian, I met you at the UFO conference at Mount Shasta a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. And immediately I just felt so much love coming out from her. I felt so connected with her. So I said, Vivian, I need to interview you. I just love her energy. And with that said, welcome, Vivian. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Very happy to be here with you. And I do remember when we connected in Mount Shasta, the beautiful conference there. I will always remember you were sitting front row, both of the panels I was a part of and my lecture. And I can see that something was happening, an energy connection. It was already an experience for you. And then you asked me, "Oh, Vivian, I would like to bring you to my show." And of course, it was an immediate yes. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm excited and I get great energy from you already. So, Vivian, let's talk about you so the audience will know who haven't met you and know of you yet, would get to know about you a little bit.
Yes, of course. I'm happy to introduce myself. So I am known as an Arcturian being in a hybrid form. What it means is that I am directly an aspect of my Arcturian avatar, and I took on a human hybrid form. I mean, that my body was genetically engineered by the Arcturian to allow my body to be a very clear conduit of frequencies in this lifetime. So I have chosen to be here directly in this physical incarnation so I can work with people. We're here to assist. We're here to help people to ascend, to return to the divine aspect, helping the star seed awakening to their true nature. But also overall, Earth humans are amazing beings with so much capacity for love, co-creation, and it's time to return to a higher form of consciousness and conscious living. And so we have been very diligent in our work to really support people from all over the world. It's been absolutely incredible.
Wow. So, Vivian, I would like to ask you this question. I'm sure a lot of people would have the same question as well. When did you know that you are Arcturian hybrid? How did you get this information? And did you recognize that when you were little, or it just kind of come in? How did you find it out and how you aware of it?
Great question. It
Mhm.
started for me at a very young age. I already had a sense of awareness about just the way I perceived the world. I remember, Tina, even by the age of 5, right at that point, around 4 or 5, I've always felt from the soul that I can feel my inner being. And I knew I had an inner knowing that I was here on a very important mission because I've always felt the consciousness of the planet herself. I've always feel the energy, the consciousness of Gaia. Well, we know her at Terra, but Mother Gaia. I've always been very sensitive to life. I can feel animals, I can feel a plant, a tree, I can feel people's energy just by looking at someone energetically and with compassion, connecting to that person. I can always start to feel their history, where they're coming from, what is happening, what seems to be holding them back. And if I have a lack of confidence in themselves, if there's something that is going on. So as I was growing up with this very clear inner knowingness, I've always been in a complete, clear, telepathic communication with my star family. And I do have a group of Arcturians that is assigned to me to support my Earth mission, including my Arcturian father. So I will always receive those clear thoughts, guidance that will answer my questions. Like, for example, I would be in school looking at a history book, and I knew that that was completely false information. It was completely misguided. And then I would hear my family says, We understand that you know because you understand Earth history, but you know this is part of the journey. This is you understanding what Earth humans go through in their early stage of development. So I went through the process of school with the clear knowingness that I just have to play along with it. And I was learning from observing from teachers, classmates, directors, like the adults who were part of that system. And I was learning a lot from the human behavior, that sense, learning to recognize all archetypes. Or sometimes we'll have teachers who have more uplifting, more conscious approach. And that would be a good fit for me. But I would be very compassionate of recognizing where everyone hardship was, their difficulties, um, where they have their own life journey, what the soul has come to accomplish. And ultimately to realize that we're in this together. We're in a symbiotic connection with each other and to the planet, alongside with all sentient life form evolving here. So it's been for me a very deep awakening process where I am also helping other intergalactic enlightened groups to understand what Earth humans are going through. And were we here in physical form, it's not as easy as you are in that enlightened state, on board the ships or back in somewhere, let's say with the councils of light, or if you're back as a Syrian or an Arcturian, your perspective of how things evolving, how consciousness evolves, is a whole complete reality. This is why I chose, even prior to this lifetime, Tina, I chose to be here in physical form as opposed to be, staying on a command on a ship and work with contactees or point of contact or working with people already on the planet. I said, no, I need to be there because I know that I'm going to be a huge catalyst that will support that evolutionary process that we call ascension, right? For
Yes,
all of us together.
yes, absolutely. Wow. So why did you choose to come to Earth knowing that Earth life is actually not easy, right? Especially right now. And
Yes.
what is it like in Arcturian family or galactic center where you at? Where you from?
Yes, Arcturus is a realm of unification. The thing is that each great intergalactic or interstellar civilizations has gone through their own process of enlightenment, hardship, history, lessons. So we understand. The thing is that it's like looking at a professor that has a double PhD, have been teaching a really high level of education for over 30 years, going into an interview with this professor and says, do you remember what it feels like when you start to be in high school? And the professor would say, I remember that I have to go through the process, but it's been such a long time ago that I am no longer in that resonance of energy. I'm no longer at that level. So I am relearning to have compassion, to understand what those who are going through from high school, their challenges are. And it's just as real, as important as it is to the PhD professor. So this is an analogy I use all the time to illustrate that Arcturians are millions of years old. They're very ancient, a very ancient civilization with complexity, history, lessons, with our councils and different levels. So we understand, and we also assist to many other civilizations who are also, Tina, on the same level or step of evolution as the Earth is. So we're there, like, think of it as the PhD professors who come to says, allow us to bring our wisdom so we can assist you reach your highest potential. It's very much in that essence that I want to answer that question. And and for us, it's we have so much love and respect for Earth humans. So why did I chose to come in physical body? Your first question. I chose because there was a time where we have seen that the probability of the timeline of ascension became a highest level of alignment for the earth. And I have come to the earth before, but I have had very few human life on earth, very few. I only come as the most significant historical timeline. So I have come, like the time of the Mayans, I've come in the time of Atlantis, I've come in the time of I have come to this earth only at the most significant timelines where the earth was reaching another level of evolution, and I've come here to really support, help, heal, transform, and also learn from it. What I am learning, what my soul has learned from all of these experiences. There's nothing like the earth, Tina. Being an earth human is one of the most complex and yet rich experience a soul can have. And regardless of where you come from in the multiverse, it's very hard to put in words. But I can tell you one thing, then I am also a bridge of education to help my Arcturian group and other groups to understand. There's a lot of information that we share, and they're learning a lot through my experience being in this form. It's extraordinary.
Wow. So can you tell, like, people come to you if they are from your groups, if they're Arcturians or different star seeds, Vivian?
Oh, good question. So if it's in alignment with that person to know at this point of time, then I will ask permission to their higher self to say, can I look into their soul lineage to help the person better understand who they are? So the answer in that form, yes.
Mm.
And the complexity, remember that all of us, regardless that you are a starseed, an hybrid, an angelic being, an earth originators, whether it's just divine essence of light, is that the soul is complex and infinite. That means that we all are together multidimensional and holographic in nature. So that means that your soul lineage, what you brought with you in this lifetime, well, there will be some level of connections that will be the most predominant. So let's say,
Mm.
for example, it's like a hurt human. Let's say you were born in Japan. So your core connection is Japan, being Japanese. Your parents may be Americans. And to Americans, your grandparents may have a connection to, let's say, Scotland. So if you look at the generational line of your ancestry, your core influence is Japan, but you will have other level of influence that also nurture your soul, and you embody those qualities you've learned from these connections. The same thing with the soul. So let's say that you are a Lyran star seed, meaning that you are a soul essence that came from Lyra and embody into human form. Maybe you have maybe when your mother was pregnant, maybe your star family has added a few genetic add-on to help you.
Mm.
But you can also have in your soul history a connection to Arcturians. Okay. It doesn't mean that you're Arcturian in this lifetime, but you're still in your soul ancestry that maybe thousands of years ago, you may have a life or two within our realm to understand the way of the Arcturian. And you carry that information, that knowledge with you in this life to help you accomplish what you've come to do. Well, of course, you can work with them, even though your soul core group may be more Lyran, for example. I hope
Oh
that
God,
makes
that
sense.
makes so much sense now. I'm sure a lot of listeners who are like wondering about where they're from or why they have connection more than one star seed, you know, that would make sense, totally makes sense now. Oh, thank you so much for that.
Of
Now
course.
you talk about timeline, which is very significant. So I would say this is the important timeline right now. That's why you're here. Why is it important right now, Vivian? And what's going to happen? What messages that you get? Because this has been questioning to a lot of human, a lot of listener, a lot of starseed, especially, or light workers wanted to find out what's going to happen. why they're here and how they, going to connect, when they're going to transcend to 5D, when is the ascension, or when they're going to get this, what you call, be able to become activated and have this gift that they're supposed to remember. Sorry,
Yes.
with so many questions in one package.
Let's explore together, because
Yes.
all of your questions lead to a core question in terms of what is happening right now. So we know that the Earth has entered into what we call the most sustainable timeline, what we call ascension. You have to think this has been thousands of years in the making. Okay. And if you look at even like a 26,000 year cycle, then the Earth has simply re-entered into what we are collectively, every soul on the planet, we have been answering the call. We have been coming back into different generational timeline, whether those who've come starting from the 30s, 20s, 40s, 60s, even all the way to the crystal children, the indigo in the 2000 years and so forth. We all have come back into what we call a certain generational timeline where massive aspect of group of souls have returned from everywhere in the multiverse. So each and every one of us has always a role to play. What is this? First and foremost, contribute to the light. Choose to be an anchor, a conscious anchor to the light. How to do this? Return to living to the by the essential. That's what we said. Be conscious of the earth. Are you utilizing resources wisely? Are you kind to yourself and others? If an animal comes to you for help, do you dare to help? Or you're too busy in your phone and your busy schedule and things that you have to do? Are you present? I always use in every interview that I do, I always use the analogy of going to the store, going to the grocery store. It's just to be there to buy grocery and get out fast. It's an opportunity to interact with others. It's an opportunity to anchor light to wherever you are. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with your process. Ascension is first and foremost, Tina, a personal choice. It's a personal process as much as it is a global and planetary process. I recently traveled to for spiritual work. And you know what I do when I'm in the airport? I sit there. Yes, I can check my phone, make sure my family or clients or somebody needs my help, I can answer. But when that is done, I put it down. And I mostly spend most of my time energetically connecting to others, be mindful, just to watch. I observe where we are on a conscious level, where people are right now. Where are you focusing your energy the most on? And how do you utilize your co-creative faculties that we call your thought forms? Every thought that you generate, it's a form of energy that is transmitted. And I'll tell you, it is so powerful that many intergalactic and interstellar groups can see like waves of energy coming from the planet. And it's all the thoughts coming from the earth. Can you imagine how much energy we generate on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, massive.
Massive. So what to do? I hear people says, well, I have a hard time hearing or seeing, or I'm more of a feeler. If you feel energy, just monitor. How do you feel every day? Ask your heart. How do I feel today? How can I be of service? Being of service is just simply that you're allowing your vibration to stay at a higher level. Yes, there's a lot of changes coming through. We understand. Allow yourself to be more fluid and adaptable with those changes. There's a lot of support, but we also counting on you because you're the crew on the ground. And we need to partner together to do that. It's not just the intergalactic beings, but also the earth humans who are here in different form. And so we are finally coming back in terms of seeing each other in our true sense. Like this conversation, Tina, I can tell you how much we are generating so much energy and light right now. Right?
Absolutely. 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 I really believe that totally. And that's why, I even mentioned before when I first met you, I totally feel such a very loving, compassionate energy from you. I just feel like, wow, I'm drawn to her. I just feel that magnet, and your smile, you're welcoming, just smile, just very welcoming. And that's kind of represent what you just shared earlier. Wherever you go, you make person feel love or feel alive or feel welcome. And
Yes.
you're one of those person who actually represent that, what you just shared. And I love that. I love that because I'm the same way. Everywhere I go, I tend to smile, sometimes way too much. And they thought I was on something. I'll go and, out on the street and sometimes I love smile and hello, I just say that. And they just like, why are you always happy? I go, what's wrong with that? So I totally get that.
Yes.
It's very hard for a lot of people to be that way, which I don't know, maybe that's the way we have been programmed in culture to just not, just kind of closed and not open and not smiling anymore. So we lost that. We lost that way of living. Can you imagine going? I mean, I've gone to places that just to eat and people would just sit across from me and like, hey, they have a lot of great dishes here, and recommend me. And I just like, wow, that's really nice. So I totally understand what you share. It's just so important to anchor that energy, and it's love really in true essence.
Yes, love.
So yeah, I understand you're Arcturian frequency healer. Why is it important to get the frequency healing, and what else that you do that to help your clients or your star seed or anyone at all who's going through this time, this ascension time?
Yes, what we do is a multidimensional and very experiential way of healing. Healing is a huge umbrella. And what it is that it's allowing someone to go through a very specific process of clearing the pathway so that that person can start to make room for having their clairs open, reopening their micro tunnel of communications, being able to allow the body to become more and more of a clearer conduit to allow those frequency to stay a more stable level. Is that what we do is that it's a catalyst of evolution, basically what we do. That is under the umbrella of healing. Healing is a restoration of the mind, body, soul, heart alignment. It's helping people to return to the resonance of alignment, even with their higher self. It's allowing everyone to remember and activating those ancient memory connectors between themselves about who they really are, and as opposed to who they've been told they are. So it's a huge reversal of thought system. It takes time, process, patience, and of course, it has to be a two-way partnership. We're the facilitators, but we all say, here, we provide you the support for reaching that level. Now, here's what you can do to maintain that on a day-to-day. And sometimes people feel it's a very complex, process. It's heavy, it's a lot of work. In reality, it's simply allowing yourself to be the embodiment of who you wish to be. What does your heart desire? And of course, we're helping even on a planetary level to heal also ancestry wounds, lines, timelines, history. I've seen places like Germany, France, who those two countries, we can still feel the wounds of the past. It's still overlapping through many generations. And so clearing the earth from the stigma of the wound, whether it's through history, war, conflict, there's going to be a lot more purging going on of the old, we extracting old structure out of the planet. We are completely moving into a new paradigm of awakening consciousness, community, restoration. We restoring ourselves. This is what we call deep soul core healing, inter healing. it implies transformation, and transformation brings transmutation into higher
Mm.
form. And so it's an ongoing process. It's a transitional process. Again, being kind with yourself, be patient, um, opening your mind to new possibilities. There's much more to you. You know, we hear a lot with the UFO and the spiritual community about the DNA template of the human beings. Oh, the DNA. Human beings has about 21 to 22 different star ancestral encoding in their DNA. And that is true. So in that sense, you have to look at the Earth humans as what we call galactic royalties. You carry so much information, your connection to the stars are infinite. And so, but how do you incorporate that new reality in people's reality where they have known that they worked 30 years or all their life, raise a family, have a good job or go through school and all of this? These are part of the old mental ways of perceiving life. Ultimately, Tina, life is a projection of realities. So your reality, the way you project it, we have point of commonality that we reach together. At the same time, there's differences to the way I perceive reality because I perceive reality to my intergalactic perspective in the human form and understanding both aspects of the spectrum. So I perceive life in a very whole different way. So it's just to realize what is it that people on a day-to-day may project. What lenses are you projecting from? I just did a healing today with a beautiful, amazing lady in her 80s. And one of the things we did is to help to clear the old lenses of the past, even as a child, that was still influencing her way of perceiving things. That no longer serves. Let's bring that back to the Akashic records. Let's clear that out of the field so you can be aligned to today, opening up your perception. It's phenomenal. There's so much that we can do.
Wow, even 80 years old and she's still doing the clearing. That's amazing.
Is that
I give
incredible?
kudo to that. Kudo to her that it doesn't matter where she's at because some people are that age will already give up. Just like, well, I don't have much time on earth anyway. Now, Vivian, I've also been hearing a lot of channel mention about this is going to be a last reincarnation for all the star seeds. What's your perspective on that? If you can get information for a lot of people were talking about that, so that's why I'm like, okay, that seems to be a hot topic right now.
Yes, yes, definitely. Let's explore that right away. Just a quick parenthesis about smile. One thing that we do is also let your heart smile. It's not just a physical facial expression, but when you smile with your heart, it
Mm.
opens up the energy of your heart, and that will also speaks volume to people. It really does speak volume. So we're also recognizing to read our energetic expression and not just to be hung up to physically what it looks like. Just a little fun parentheses I wanted to bring.
I love that. I love that because you can totally feel it in your heart when you smile from there.
Yes,
Totally huge.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's a little fun thing. Let's come back to the star seed and the last incarnation. Yes, it has been brought to our attention. I have been become aware that there's many, many star seed who have returned in this particular timeline, the ascension timeline, with a true understanding that they were simply answering a very deep call of help from the earth without for them any need to pursue their own soul evolution through physical incarnation on earth. So I know personally that, there will be, this is my last time I'm coming in this form, and there's many other star seed, because many soul, Tina, who have already returned now, regardless of what you look like physically, it is about who you are. Many souls have already reached the level of ascension. I've already ascended. What we're
Mhm.
doing is reascending all together again to give an opportunity of an entire planet and an entire civilization to finally return to their point of divine origination. That's what we're doing ultimately. So we call it the Reascension Project. Not just ascension, but we reascending. How many masters are already here in physical human form? You know, whether you have genius faculties or not, you still who you are. So there's many, many souls on the planet right now in this beautiful form. We have no need to learn or further learn from these incarnations. We're stepping away from it. We are again a reversal of thought system that says, well, the soul would just be trapped on this incarnation wheels. We're helping everyone to get off that wheel so they can continue their evolution in different form. You know, there's different ways to reach ascension and enlightenment. You don't have to reincarnate over and over and over again on earth. You can be just a pure consciousness, a ball of pure consciousness, and still evolves. You can be an angelic being. You can be, you know, in different dimensional realities. Or so there's different ways for the soul of learning to continue their journey. This is one thing I've learned from loved ones who have transfer over back to the light. And I've seen over a time of 20, 30 years, souls reaching a level of mastery of light. There's no need for them to come back again and again and again in a physical body. So this is also part of what we are shifting from. What else there is, right?
Mm.
That makes sense.
So that oh yeah, definitely. So that actually brought up a very, big question for me right here. It's starting to make me think that reincarnation is like a loop that we just kept coming back, and it's like as if we are get pulled back into the matrix of illusion. And we weren't supposed, the way you, from what you just said, we were not supposed to be keep going around and around and around. So I feel like energetically we're being pulled back because we got compressed or controlled by this program that's not real. Is that correct? In the matrix?
That's an aspect of it. That's definitely a huge aspect of it. Plus, by doing that, it generates more karma and then more
Yes.
complexity, and it just keep you going in the hamster wheel, so to speak.
And it's like amnesia where we just kept going around in a loop, and you will never get out of this site, is this wheel, until we become awakened, and that's when we exit out of this wheel of karma.
Yes, I
Or
mean,
oh my gosh, this is just see, this I grew up in Buddhist, background,
yeah,
from Thailand. So they were talking a lot about reincarnation, but it's never going to the extent, the extension of why we, kept coming back. But the teaching said, but this is all illusion. This is all illusion. And when I watch Matrix and growing up and listening to all this, channeling information, it's kind of come into my clear perception now that we're just awakened. We wake up and we no longer got controlled by this loop of energy, and we exit out of this matrix.
yes.
Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. I hope the audience get all this too. This is what you just explained really just click, and it's like a key that's kind of opened up that understanding to me at this moment just now. So this must be my last incarnation.
You're
Because I
doing
understand.
great, Tina.
No, right? Yes, yes. So you are a podcaster as well, and interstellar communication. Can you tell me a little bit? Tell us a little bit about this. What is
Oh,
it on your podcast? What is it that you are bringing to the audience, and your
thank you.
intention? Yes.
Thank you, Tina. My podcast is called The Infinite Star Connections. Myself and my co-host, Jeff Demers. Jeff is also the co-founder, the director of the Infinite Voice Project. So what happened, which is amazing, this podcast idea of the Infinite Star Connections came through my Arcturian group. One day on a Sunday, I'll tell you, a Sunday afternoon, I had a little break between healing session. My Arcturian father come, he put his hands on me and he said, you need to contact your friend Jeff, because he's a representative of his own star nations. We're going to partner up together and you're going to create a podcast. I'm like, I am? We are? He said, yes. Now, as I am tapping, he said, now reach him to him now. So of course, what do we do on this 3D level? We send an email or we text or we call, right? So as I am typing an email to my friend Jeff, at the same time, he was receiving the message that he had to be more out there, that he was going to become a co-host and he's going to put video out there, and he was going, and his own intergalactic group were talking to him. And Jeff was dismissing that because he's a little bit more of a, like 3D, like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so as he's having this discussion with his own group, he received my email. Within 2 minutes, he reads it. And he replied to me, he says, was your Arcturian father talking to you about this? I said, yes. So we call each other and we discovered that at the same time, that space and time, that both our intergalactic groups were already co-creating that idea for us to do this. And sure enough, about 3 months later, on the summer solstice of 2020, I believe, we started the Infinite Star Connections. The idea, Tina, is to create a podcast that is very unique in frequencies, in discussion, is to give the voice to our star brothers and sisters, is to allow people in the field, whether they're known or unknown, it's of no importance, is to allowing light workers, starseed, contactees, to really bring uplifting messages to help and support human beings in their own journey, whether you are light workers, a star seed, whether you're simply awakening to a higher truth. It is designed as a support system and a direct voice for our intergalactic groups. And this is how it started. And we have had amazing guests on the podcast, as well as we take time, just the two of us, to host, sometimes just Q&A, and interact with the public, interact with people. And we have people from all over the world listening.
Wow.
They're
So
amazing.
this is in 2020.
I believe we launched in 2020, yes.
Wow, what's such an important year, right? When a lot of people going through a lot of difficulty during this time of
Yes.
lockdown.
Yes.
And what is the name of your podcast? Because this is going to be displayed, this video, not only on YouTube, but it's going to be on podcast, which is on Amazon, Spotify, and also Apple as well. So it's kind of nice that you can share with the audience when they listen. Some people just like to listen to podcasts. So this is kind of cool that you have this. And I'm sure people would love to follow you. And so which podcast are you on, Viviane?
Yes, the name of the podcast is called The Infinite Star Connections. We are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we are on Pandora.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes. Please kindly email to me. I'm going to post it on the description here for those YouTube followers can actually look down under description and follow Viviane as well. You can listen to her talk, and Jeff, her partner, as well.
Thank
Viviane,
you.
I noticed the background that you have, and I remember seeing that images from the conference. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So you're seeing right now, I know what you're referring to this right here. This is just an aspect of it's my business logo, first and foremost. It's also on my website. This is Arcturian light language, and they're designed to be also activators. So I keep an aspect of the light language always behind me to help people activate. It speaks to everyone a whole different level. It really brings activations, and also there are really high frequency symbols, and you can feel the energy at the bottom, like that beautiful blue emanation of light coming from with the purple and the light. There's a lot of activation there. So it's meant to be light language. Um, I wish I had a bigger one to show you, because if you go on my website, you can see the entirety of the picture, and in each side is also additional blueprint. And when you look at the light language itself, it is very much designed to help people activate, whether it's unlock memories, opening maybe your clairs, helping you maybe to open your throat chakra or eye. It's a very powerful.
Can you share the name of your website, Viviane, just for podcaster listeners?
Of course. So my website is called Infinite Healing from the Stars.com.
Once again, Infinite Healing from the Stars.com.
Correct.
Now I have one more question here. Why is it a lot of star seeds still are not awakened at this moment, or cannot, like, still confused or still going through? How would they reach the last lifetime if they're star seed and they're not awakened yet?
Yes, that's a very important point. So the thing is that many star seed are soul emanation from other either galaxies, universe, parallel, have returned here in a human form in this density that we call the 3D dimensional reality in a linear time construct. It is very easy sometimes to get lost, to get
Mm.
entangled mentally, emotionally. It's also easy to get entangled in personalities and get to identify with the persona that people developed. I was born in, let's say, Australia. I grew up in Sydney. My life story is this. This is what I like. This is my upbringing. This is the limiting belief systems that I have brought onto, and this is the imprints I carry. The thing is that because it's a personal journey, it's allowing the star seeds to follow deeper impulses, follow your intuition. Your inner being knows who you are. Follow your heart, follow those impulses that tells you, hey, you're still wearing this Halloween costume and you have identified to it so much to a T that ultimately you forgot that you're the one wearing the costume. What's underneath it that we want to look at?
Mhm.
So it start to ask yourself different questions. People ask me all the time, they come to me in session, I want to know my life purpose. I says, great. Do you recognize who you are to begin with? Is there so many layers that we need to clear before even for you to better understand what your life purpose is? And I always says, your life purpose is encoded in your own life journey. So you have to look from the moment you set foot on the planet, the moment you were born, you have been on your journey all along, is to simply to step away from any form of attachments or emotional investment and to look at your life journey with more objectivity and understand all these experiences, synchronicity, opportunity, everything you've gone through, what do they speak of the most? And how do they relate to you? And that
Wow,
would, yeah, that's a really good point to start.
powerful, powerful. Now that comes to for more of a question for you.
Of course.
A lot of people tend to ask, what is my life purpose? Because you just brought up about life purpose earlier. A lot of people question that, Vivian. How would one know what their life purpose is? Even those who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s still questioning that.
And there will be more questioning because we're shifting. We're moving out of limiting belief systems, false matrix reality. We're shifting away from persona that we have embodied. We talked about starseed a moment ago. Some starseed have been struggling so much just to fit in. So
Yes.
imagine how much time they have taken just to be able to function here, go to work, go to school, pay your bills, societal expectation, family expectation, all of it, because we are shifting out of this false matrix and we are dismantling old structure to allow more conscious, organic, more fifth dimensional aligned structure to emerge When we are in a between, this is where we can question ourselves the most. Well, what am I supposed to do next? Where's my life purpose? Again, come back to understanding. Look at your life journey. You have been on your path all along. What is your calling? Ah, I do not know. Good. Your mind has no answers. Ask your heart, ask your inner being. Ask the question. Tell yourself, Source, God, universe, I am ready to take on the next step on my journey. I am ready now to be of service. Show me the next steps. In order to have the real answer to that, you need to be clear with yourself. The clearer you are with yourself, the more you accept yourself explicitly with all of the life experiences you've had, the more you will be in alignment to listen, receive, feel, and recognize the answers. So after time, people come to me in private session or group session, what is my life purpose? And I said, I wouldn't be of service to you today to even explore remotely that, because we're only adding more water and already an overflowing cup. There is so much going on. So how about you empty your cup, clear your conduit, bring you back into your own resonance of who you are with yourself. Now we'll talk about soul purposes, because that would be much more meaningful to you and helpful. Otherwise, it's just adding more layers of information, and information has nothing to do with knowledge.
Mm.
That's different.
Wow, powerful. I love that. Clear your cup. Love that a lot. If you don't clear your cup, you got tons of filthy water in there. Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally powerful. I kept like getting more questions for you because you're just so fun to talk to. You've got so much information here. Akashic, you mentioned about Akashic earlier because I remember you mentioned. Is it important for a person to access the Akashic, Vivian? How would one know how to access Akashic themselves? Or how can you help them? Or if you are able to tap into Akashic or show them how?
Yes, that's a great question. I love to do that. This is something I want to implement more and more, because as we're moving out of phases of healing, clearing ourselves, emptying the cup, getting more in resonance with who we are, now accessing all ancient memories of who we are at a soul level become more accessible. Okay, that's just, you see the process that we're going to. Arcturians are very methodologic. They're very much, they can see exactly at one stage we need to be at one time. That's why they're masters of what they do and what we do. And the Akashic records, many people have easy access to it, but again, to be clear with yourself, it's accessible to everyone at any time. We simply connect to the gateway of your heart, clear the lower mind. Remember, the mind only asks questions. Tell your mind, watch my breath, be the guardian of my breath as I meditate. Mind, stay focused on my breath as I meditate. It allows you to be in that journey, to allow yourself to be more aligned with who you are. And when you connect with yourself this way, feel that you're opening the sacred gateway of your heart. And from there, you can ask to your higher self, I wish to connect to my Akashic records. I wish to connect to the memory field of my Akashic record. What is it I need to remember that is helping me in my life mission now? It's not that's a difference between remembering aspect of souls or having access to knowledge. It's another aspect, even more polished aspect, to ask what memories, knowledge, aspect of self do I need to remember to help me to support my life purpose, my soul journey in the now. Because Tina and everyone, this life that you're having right now is your most important one. Past lives only serve as like an archive to look through and understanding some soul aspect of you or some trait. But that's what they are for. It's just to better understanding maybe some trade or qualities or challenges you may have brought with you in this lifetime. But ultimately, it leads all to this lifetime here. And this one is very important. It always have been, but now even more so, because we all have come back together to assure the success and the stability of the ascension and the enlightenment times. There's a great need to return to the enlightenment way of living, like human being used to thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And I'm being generous in time. It's just there's a need to return to that space now.
Wow, beautiful. Last question, promise you. Do you meditate, and you recommend people to meditate to access Akashic or even to remember who they are?
Yes, I do. I do it in my own way. I do what's called, because of who I am as a nocturne being in a very specific hybrid body that was genetically designed in a certain way, even though I look a lot humans, which was the plan. So I don't look like so ET beings and so lanky and super tall. And I know, people will go like, oh, I'm not able to handle you. So this is why I have this human form, so I can be talking and interacting with all of you. Meditating, yes. Now, the word meditation sometimes has a lot of connotation to it, and a lot of people will feel resistance to it.
Yes, yes,
Let's
yes.
remove that word. It's just a semantic, okay? Let's remove that out of the way. Let's bring into more of a place of inner what I call inner state of contemplation. Okay, let's remove the word meditation or meditative journey more into a place of inner contemplation. And what does it mean? It's allow everyone to first hear your own breath, feel your own heartbeat, allows you to bring you back to your inner universe. You can hear your real thoughts. Start to listen to your soul language. A lot of people wants to hear their guides, have gifts, open their third eye, throat
Yep.
chakra. They want to be in that telepathic communication with star beings. It starts by clearing your inner universe. Start
Mm,
by toning down the noise. And I'll tell you
mm,
one thing. When you and I, Tina, were in Mount Shasta for this amazing conference just about a month ago, and you're right about that.
yeah.
On Saturday night, when I went to bed, a few hours later, I saw a green portal opening in my hotel room, and there
Wow.
were three Andromedan beings who came through in their own energetic field. And you know what is the first thing they told me? They were a little frustrated with me. They said, how are you supposed to listen and receive our messages when there's so much noise around you? And I told them, I said, what are you talking about? I'm laying out in bed. What they were referring to is that the noise of the mental mind. And next to my bed on a night table, I had a little box that generate white noise, because this is how I sleep, with white noise, to block off the noise of the building, the street, the cars, people laughing, so I can better sleep. They physically disconnected the box and they physically pushed it against the wall.
No way.
Oh,
Wow.
yes way. And I'm like, okay, that was clear. And then they said, now we can give you the message we come to tell you. And what it was um, an upgrade they were giving me in the Andromedan light language.
Wow.
Three of them
Wow.
together. I can still see them in my third eye. And then I could hear physically the light language coming through in the Andromedan language, wherever Andromedan were. They were transmitting those to me.
So
And
you're
then,
Arcturian, but the Andromedas came from a different
well, I
star
worked with
system.
many groups.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes. It's like being an ambassador. You can be, my core is Arcturian, and at the same time, I
Got you.
connect and work with a lot of groups, many, many of them.
Wow. Wow. What do they look like, Vivian?
Yes, it was what they projected to that portal was a projection of the etheric light body. So it was not like I'm seeing you right now or physically. What was for them is you have to think about it was the quality of the transmission, was the message themselves. I could see three distinct silhouettes with certain trait, whether they were more on the masculine or feminine resonance side. And what I can see is the energy of the portal, because it's like pixel that was moving up and down, that was sustaining the transmission open to match the frequency of the room I was in. There was a lot of effort they went through to do that. But what's
Wow.
important is what I heard even physically, and of course on a clairaudience level, was the transmission of their light language to help to bring the next level of upgrades. Because I work a lot with the Andromedan as well as I work with the Lyrians, the Council of the Syrians. I'm very close also to the Alpha Centauri, and I work with many, many, many groups, even those who are not known by names. Even though I'm the core Arcturians, they love that about me because they do recognize my Arcturian self. When I work as an ambassador with other interstellar groups, Tina, what they see about me is my Arcturian self, not the human aspect. They see me as an
Wow.
Arcturian, and they understand I'm on the earth, but that's what they see me as.
Wow, amazing. That's beautiful, beautiful story you share.
Thank you.
Wow, you're a blessing to the talk here, Viviane. Viviane, I would like you to share again your just for people who listen to the podcast, what do you offer to the humanity, to your clients, to people who would like to come, to you? I'm sure people who listen would love to connect with you if they're Octurian especially. And your website again for listener on podcast to get your paper and pen, guys.
Well said, Tina. Well said. All right, let's write it down. My website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com
Mhm.
and infinitehealingfromthestars.com. We offer many things right now. We have a Patreon community, which is amazing. We have a community we built from all over the world where we do classes, we do global initiative Zoom call with our group. We do also free meditation for everyone. It's also on the website and on my YouTube channel. We do also Arcturian holographic group healing. The next one coming up, it's on Saturday, August 20th. There's a registration link on the website, other events. Of course, I do a lot of one-on-ones, the Arcturian Energy Matrix healing. We have healing packages. We do attunement with the Syrians. There's a lot going on, and it's just what we are offering now. There will be much more coming in as we expand, so will we with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my gosh, just beautiful what you're offering here. Guys, I'm going to also put her information in the description, even in the podcast as well. I'm going to put there for Viviane so you can connect with her. Thank you so much, Viviane, for really, give me this opportunity to interview you, to reconnect with you again, because you were definitely one that I just felt like instant drawn and pull. Perhaps with your smile, your welcoming openness that you shared earlier, it sure did make the impression on me quite a lot. And when I look at you, I can feel my heart smile. I felt it, you know and I do believe even when I'm looking at you right now, I can see your auric field coming out. It's like a blue silver color that I get. I don't know if that's actually your color, but there's a silver around it more, even more than the blue that I get. So thank you so much for all your love and light and your time for being here, Viviane. Guys, thank you for listening. And remember, if you want to connect with her, go to her website, sign up for newsletters, get yourself, she even offered the meditation group and all that stuff. Beautiful way to connect and remembering if you wanted to get into a Akashic, remembering who you are, which makes sense. You access your record, you remember who you are, and you're probably going to find that connection with the information you're going to get. So don't forget to just click like. Please share this video with everyone if you feel resonated with Viviane. Share her work, share her light, share her love. Thank you. Thank you so much, Viviane. I mean, just amazing. I really feel like activated already. And I'm sure this is part of activation when you're watching this video as well. When you connect to the light, you connect to the energy. And that's
Yes.
it. And I believe if you're listening to this, you are Arcturian. Beautiful ancient soul. Thank you, guys.